hopefully that fixed things. Sorry, everybody. James the Cat Boy, if you are still here after everything just exploded, why are natural 20s so convoluted? Yeah, the Pathfinder system was designed to kind of correct some of the weird things that happen with criticals. I'm not sure I like the Pathfinder 1 critical confirmation system per se, but it led to some fun things.
There was a D&D story that was going around like early days of Critical Role that kind of involved that confirmed criticals. And it was a person, they rolled a nat 1 or like they'd had a rough game to the point where all of their friends at the table were kind of piling shit on them. They rolled a nat 1, failed against the big bad evil guy, roll to confirm, rolls another nat 1, everybody's like dying in laughter, and then okay, roll one more just to see what happens, rolls another nat 1, and people are like falling out of their chairs laughing at how horrible this is, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're dead. You've literally just killed yourself." And then the GM looks up on their table for what 3 nat 1s means, and it was you and adjacent character both die immediately. No saves, no nothing. And since the only person next to them was the big bad evil guy, he just took out the ultimate villain.
Pull the pin on the enemy's grenade belt.
Yeah, it was really funny.
That's funny.
It was a good story, much better written than my poor retelling.
I had,
but that's the system.
The story that this is just an anecdote, right? Personal anecdote.
Yep.
That got me to start doing that was my friend's game. They were playing a pirate campaign, and one of them wanted to like swing between the boats. Because they were doing they were pirates, they were fighting on a different boat, and they nat 1 and the rope broke, and he's like, cool, I'm gonna try to like acrobatics my way onto the other boat without dying, as like the way of him like, oh, the rope broke, I'm just gonna like backflip it. But another natural 1, so 2 natural 1s, and then the third one, he's like, just roll it, see what happens. And he rolled it, got another natural 1. He's like, you fall right into the mouth of a shark, die, no saves. And I was like, that's hilarious. And in my long time of playing that, I think I've only ever seen it happen twice. Like, I think we had 1 natural 20, 3 natural 20s, and then Kevin the Necromancer had one of his minions attack an ooze. So it was a skeleton attacking an ooze, and 3 natural 1s later, he just is enveloped by the ooze and dies. Like, it's just, so it was a minion, but it was still really funny, and I love it. I think it's great. I think it's a really fun, because it's such a small percentage chance.
Yeah.
And yeah, something about like 3.5, like they used to have, like helmets used to give you protection from criticals. Like that was just the thing.
Really?
Yeah. And that was kind of lame. So like, so that was 3.5's thing, is like, oh, if you're fully armored, you just can't be critical, right? Like it's just not gonna happen, which made you way too powerful. So like, no, we'll keep the criticals, but we'll make it less than a 5% chance, right? Because double damage on a 5% chance is really good. Like almost no video game you play will ever have 100% critical damage at a 5% chance, right? Like that's just that's too high. So 5e or Pathfinder tried to correct that by taking the 5% chance, and then you still had to hit the enemy's threshold, right? So if their AC is 20, you basically have to roll above a 10 at level. It doesn't matter. I don't need to do math. So that critical chance goes from 5% to 5% times or divided by your chance to hit the creature. So that gives really low-level creatures a very high chance of being crit for that double damage, and usually a bonus effect. and bosses less so, and that balanced it out a little better. I think the 10 system now is better in general.
Yeah, I agree.
The only problem I have with it is that it does err on the side of making really tough creatures just like your spells fail, and it's like that sucks. But like it's always been like that, so
Yep.
I don't know. I do also like that they've basically added the mechanics for spell criticals, because in a lot of other games, there's no way to do it unless they botch their DC.
Yep.
And then it's kind of up to the DM's discretion. Hit break. It's Friday.
Looks like Magma finally added a blending tool.
Nice. Kid, you are so tired. Why? Why do you do this? Why do you do this to me? Well, the game has hit a stall point.
Oh no.
Part of it was commissions. I got a couple of commissions that I had to do.
Yep.
Which is fine and understandable. But then in the process of doing that, Dalcor came back and like I wanted to do something, and then I squirreled, and I ended up rebuilding the entire inventory system, and I was like, okay, great. And so now I'm kind of like, I'm scared to touch anything, because I want Dalcor to finish that up and like give him the best opportunity, and I don't know what to keep working on. So I might have to come up with a system for seeing what people are working on at the time, so we don't accidentally overlap. Kid, these are your options. You can either sit on my lap and not do what you're doing, or you can sit on the floor. What do you think? Yeah? Yeah, all your toys are on the floor again. Yeah, it's gonna be one of those days. I can feel it. Put rugby down here. Doop, doop. Rolling some dice. Here we go. Just gonna jump into it. See how many we can get done before everything implodes. So I have a friend coming into town that I forgot was coming into town. He's going to Emerald City Comic Con tomorrow.
Cool.
So I think we can still do D&D, but might start a little late. I don't know. What is a... Oh, Nordic. Okay. I read this as Nothic Giant. It's like Nordic Giant Barbarian. All right. Ba, 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 ba. Rugamar? Yeah. Give Rugby a little halo for funsies. I definitely want to take the Wayne Reynolds approach to drawing giants and just like
Big, funky shape.
Yeah.
No shoulders. Fill in detailed.
And so when you make something a half giant, it's like, I don't know. The only real definitive thing that makes something a giant is either A, big or 2 like an elemental thing, right?
Yeah.
If you go 2 monstrous, it's a troll.
Yeah. I've never loved the elemental thing being tacked onto giants, honestly, because you don't really see that a lot in normal mythology.
Yeah, because like the like Norwegian trolls are giants, but they're like rock giants.
Yeah. And I guess like
And you got the Nephilim, which are just big people. Like a lot of the giants are just
they are
dudes.
just generally big. Yeah.
Yeah.
It when you look at Norse mythology, it is you do get frost and fire giants, but I don't see any of the others, and I don't know.
I think giant is too vague of a term, really.
Yeah, totally.
This is just like big thing. It's like so all elementals are also giants.
In Nordic mythology, aren't the fire giants also dwarves?
Yes, they're big, but they're dwarves. Which,
Yeah.
once again, it's a strange thing. And like in Tolkien stuff, like they are mountains. Like they're just okay.
Yeah,
You're going on the floor, kid. You're not allowed to touch the keyboard. You broke the rules twice. You're done. Great. That was weird. Why can't I erase this? What happened? Okie dokie. Ah. I figured it out. No. No. Yeah. It's the same rule. It's the same rule. It has not changed. You're not allowed to touch the keyboard.
Man, in college I used to draw spellcasters. I would totally give them Doctor Strange hands. You know, just doing really weird, nonsensical, like contortionist shit.
Yep, I still do that.
I think I need to go back to doing that because it's weirdly easier to draw messed up hands than it is to draw anatomically correct hands.
I think I got a little corrupted by like growing up with like Catholicism, like stained glass windows and stuff.
Yep.
Like the Jesus pose.
Yep. The priest blessing with the 2 fingers.
Mm-hmm.
And Like, I did not grow up with Catholicism, and that was also my default for a while.
It's easy to draw, makes the hand look good. Oh boy. Okay. Somewhere along the way my pen got weird.
Yeah, you're drawing much lighter than you usually do.
I think I accidentally picked up the lighter color. I just kept going.
Oh, yep, I do that all the time.
Having trouble choosing something for the Patreon mini commission. I mean, it's just a mini commission, so the shorter the better. It's essentially just a Patreon only viewer suggestion. I spend a little more time on it than normal. Cyclopses are giants, right? Like, do they count as giants?
I think technically.
I feel like they must. Or is the Cyclops just one giant who had one eye?
In Greek mythology, I believe that the Cyclopses are specifically giants, children of
One of the Titans?
Poseidon.
Did the Cyclops have a name? I can't remember.
In the Odyssey, yes. I forget what it is, but he did have a name. And Odysseus tricked him into thinking that his name was nobody.
Let's get weird. Let's get weird with this. I'm gonna give him like... Oops, I've drawn the weird space orcs from Fifth Element.
Oh yeah. Elliot says there are more than one Cyclops in Greek mythology. Yeah.
But I just meant, like, I didn't know if his name was Cyclops or Cyclopses or whatever, if that is what they are called. That was my question. Like Medusa, right? Like,
Yep.
Medusa is a Gorgon. Medusa is her name. The Minotaur is
Oh,
technically
yeah.
has a name.
Polyphemus was the name of the Cyclops in the Odyssey. He was a one-eyed giant and the son of Poseidon and Thusa.
Polyphemus? Doesn't that just mean one eye?
I believe so.
Well, maybe he was just a one-eyed Cyclops then. Maybe he was weird.
The name Polyphemus in Greek means many voiced or
Many
much spoken of.
Ah. He was a talker. That's why nobody cared.
I don't know. His father cared.
Wait, what do you mean?
When Poseidon figures out that Odysseus killed his son Polyphemus, he goes batshit crazy.
Oh, I didn't realize that Poseidon was his father. Okay.
Yeah.
Odysseus does not have a good relationship with Poseidon.
No, he does not. He doesn't have a very good relationship with most of the Pantheon, honestly.
That's fair.
I think that's part of the that is definitely part of his story, is that
Man against
he
God.
largely holds the Pantheon in contempt, because he is one of the few who actually recognizes the Trojan War as being a nonsensical war that happened because the gods were capricious and unfair. So yeah, he largely holds them in contempt. Most of them hold him in contempt, and the few that are on his side manage to get him home, but don't care enough for any of the rest of his family. And
Or name
yeah,
his crew.
Poseidon
or-
especially. Yeah. Poseidon especially really shits on him.
Brontes? Steropes and Arts. Got it.
All right, that's enough of a warm up. Looks like a D8.
Good boy.
Cool. An 8. Mucinid.
Oh, yes. That was one from one. Jesus Christ,
Yep.
kid. Yeah. Please don't throw your cars in the desk. If you're gonna be up here, you gotta take a nap. In your car. You cannot put your feet on the desk.
Those were almost human sounds.
Almost. Almost. I've done something very strange. I did 20 rotation push-ups.
Oh yeah.
Where you have the little thing that like rotates as you do a push-up, so you get a more of a arm rotation. I did 20 and like it felt like it killed me.
Oh no. And now you're
I've lost some
wrestling
weight,
with a
but I'm
child.
super out of shape. So I gotta fix that. Super out of shape. Keep seeing these things on TikTok where they're like, "Oh, draw a circle, draw a heart, and then that's your face." And I want to play with that. Like that's kind of cool. Kind of works.
Definitely works if you're drawing an owl.
Yeah, right. Like it's just a matter of figuring out where everything goes.
Yep.
Take it. Go get it. Go get it. Go get your car. No. That's what I thought. Get it. Please just take a nap. No. You're so tired. I'm gonna mute myself for a second.
Yep.
Stop it. Please stop pushing on my neck. Yeah, this is not gonna happen. I'll be right back.
Yep, John Miller, I think that answers your question. Drawing a magic sword from the centerfold of a book. That's cool. You know, Elliot, that reminds me, in high school, I had an assignment from one of my art classes. It was to make a sketchbook out of an actual book and figure out ways to draw over the text. And I had a really old Reader's Digest that nobody cared about, that I took that and I used it. I ended up like gessoing over pages and drawing on it. I actually hated the process, but it was probably a good thing for me to do artistically. But yeah, Drawing in a book reminds me of that. A mushroom. Needs to have vacant eyes, not angry eyes. Have you ever doodled in a text-only book the characters or items in a story? No, absolutely not. I am anal retentive about my book care, probably because I grew up not having any books of my own. Like I picked up a lot of books from the library, and it was really important to me that they were returned in as good a condition as I got them. I absolutely hate drawing or writing in the margins or making notes inside a book or doing anything other than just reading the text. To me, books are sacrosanct. I remember babysitting my nephew who was a terror. Yeah. So what's the saying about children? They're kids are great as long as they're not yours and you can give them back to the parents when they become a problem. It's a little reductive. But sometimes it feels correct. No, paperbacks are fragile, but I have every paperback I have ever been given. I'm having a really hard time not giving this mushroom minotaur parasect eyes.
Sorry, a kid is fighting me, so he's just gonna have to figure his own shit out for a little bit. So I might be muted.
That's fine.
He's to the point where he's so tired that he can't function, and then he gets upset because said functioning doesn't work.
I was like that yesterday. Honestly.
It sucks because like the point I'm at is like the doctors are like, oh yeah, no, like he's safe, he's fine. You just let him cry himself to sleep. It's like, so I just put him down and let him scream for an hour, and they're like, yep, like cool. So it's just like, I hate it. I don't want to do that. But the alternative is that I hold him for an hour while he punches me in the throat because he's upset. He doesn't actually punch me in the throat. He just baby arms, only know bent and straight.
Yep.
Brian, John, welcome in, by the way. Hope you're doing well. I gotta teach this kid that crying doesn't get him anything, and that makes me feel bad. I totally get how kids get, like, super spoiled.
Yep. Parents just can't. They get to the point where they like just can't deal with it.
Yeah.
Let them get away with whatever.
I saw a TikTok of like it was like there's two types of parents because that's all my TikTok feed is now.
Yep.
And one was like, guys, I need you to come back off the dock. I need you to come back. Come on back. And then the lady walks up and she's, get your ass back here right now. I'm gonna whoop the shit out. And like they just start running off the dock. And it's like, I know those two people.
Yep.
My parents were definitely a middle ground, but I had friends and family members that were of both types. I'm a little worried about that. The gentle parenting doesn't always work when the child no longer gives a shit. So what do you do then? Take away their Xbox. It's really tough. Sorry, this turned into like parent talk.
That was fine.
Need to air some
It's
grievances.
kind of your world right now. It's totally fine.
The issue I'm really having is like the only thing he wants right now is just like hold me. Like that's all he wants. And so it's like that seems like a reasonable thing, but at the same time, like sometimes it's hey, I'm tired. Hold me for 2 hours. And if you put me down, I'm gonna lose my mind. And it's like that's excessive, and I don't think that's appropriate. I think you should sleep in your own bed. And it's like the only thing I can punish him with. Well, I mean, I don't really want to punish him, but like the only thing he wants is the only thing I can take away from him. And so it's just, and that's why I think it's like immediate screaming, right?
Yeah.
I think I just gotta let it happen. There will be more screaming in my future, so I might be muted more. He's calmed down now in his crib, but he's also not asleep, so who knows? I say crib, he's got like a pack and play thing. It's like 5 feet from me, so he's right here. Okay. I'm not sure that one parenting technique works for all types of child. Yeah. Discipline will have him respect you more than being a pushover. Yeah, I definitely don't want to be a pushover, but like, he's still so little that like punishing doesn't mean anything yet.
Yeah, yeah.
You take away a kid's toy and they either immediately forget it exists or they just shut down, right? It's like start screaming their brains out. I'm getting better about like when I'm holding him on the desk, the only thing he can't do is touch the keyboard because he'll just start slapping the keyboard and like try to rip the keys off. And so now I know he realizes I don't want him to do that because he'll like sneak up to the desk and then he'll look at me and he'll like slowly start trying to reach the keyboard. It's like, you're pushing boundaries, kid. And so I've gotten better at like realizing when he is pushing boundaries and versus just like, oh, I'm just playing around. It's like, okay, this needs to be corrected. This will be a corrected thing. No, we don't do that. No, you get put on the floor because you touched the thing. There will be screaming.
No matter what.
Yep.
I think a lot of parenting is just learning how to deal with screaming.
Yeah. Well, it's just kind of learning how to deal with people that can't communicate with you, right?
Yeah.
I can't imagine having a kid when I was like 18 or 19. Like, that's got to be super rough.
Yeah.
Because like you're hardly an adult at that point, and so like dealing with that has to be really, really difficult. So my hat off to anybody who had kids young, like my parents did. And it's just like, I don't know how you guys figured it out. I'm a grown-ass man and I'm struggling.
Yeah, my parents had 7 kids. My mother was burnt out for most of the time I've known her. She's been burnt out to the point of barely being able to function.
See, welcome in. What's been drawn today? I'm drawing a half-giant barbarian. I think it was Brawler. I'm going to give him some brass knuckles, and I'm probably going to call it.
Yep. I'm drawing a Moonatar, a mushroom minotaur. And I'm Druid, by the way.
Yep, Druid's over here drawing the cow. I had a weird moment today. Someone gave me a bunch of Walmart gift cards that were going to expire.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, I need to get rid of these. I need to use these up. So I started looking up, like, what's just random things that I want to buy but haven't bought. Because there's, like, the closest Walmart's, like, 30 minutes away from me. So I never go there. What'd you drop? Oh, you just went out? So I'm like, maybe I'll get some more ammo so I can go to the range later and shoot some clays or something. Apparently Walmart stopped selling guns and or ammo. I was like, oh, okay. But you can still buy like anything and everything gun related at Walmart. You just can't buy the guns themselves or ammo. I was like, that's weird. That's very weird. The brass knuckles made me think of that, of just like, these are super illegal, but if you want to buy a paperweight, you can get those at the store. So very weird. Weird time we live in.
Yep. Especially in America.
Yeah. Oldest 4, I go to help. Oldest of 4, Oh, you got to help. Got it, yeah. Yeah, my dad was one of 7 and my mom was one of 14. So, like, I grew up surrounded by cousins and aunts and uncles and stuff. I don't really have that. I don't really have that around here. So I moved away. My own fault. This guy looks a little bit like an orc, so I'm just gonna give him the White Hand of Sauron, and then we'll call it. I keep saying I'm gonna add more stuff, and then. Who do you serve? Saruman. Alright. Gub.
I can't help but feel like my drawing has gotten worse this year.
Your shape language is really good right now, but you're not drawing any detail, which is unlike you.
Yeah.
Usually you do a lot of...
I find myself unable to bridge the gap of where I'm at to where I usually get to.
I don't necessarily think it's worse, though. I think it's just, like, your stuff is a little more stylized than it used to be, and that's probably because of the time constraints. Like, that's really the... There's two ways to get better. Spend more time on something, or draw simpler. I think you're getting more used to that, because you've been drawing a lot more. You used to just drew the one intro thing, and then that was it. And now you're getting 2 or 3 done, which is good. Like, I love doing these little sketches, but, like, these are essentially previs for what I would do for a commission, you know?
Yeah.
This is stage 1 of 5. And that's where I stop. Oh, you find this stuff out there? Maybe I should just leave him alone in the crib. That's weird. Just gotta get past the screaming. Yeah, I was having fun. Great. Okay, moving on. Have to wait for stability. Yeah. Yep, that's definitely part of it. Yeah? Have you calmed down? Yeah. Can you please try to take a nap? I don't want you to know. There's nothing on the computer screen for you. Oh. No. Okay, thank you. Try the towel trick, the face thing? No, that does not work. Put $20 and $1 on the table, and if they were good behaving, it's yours. Yeah, that would work for older kids. Bribery's a pretty good means of functioning. Kid, you got... Okay, I gotta walk away from the computer.
Yep. See you later, John. Siegfried, Sling can be scary in PF2E if you know what you're doing. Yeah. One of the things that I appreciate about Pathfinder is that anything can be scary if you know what you're doing. You really have the leeway to make almost anything work. I haven't done this yet, but I've wanted to. I've got a Gripply character. I think it's Tripkey now because they're changing names away from D&D IPs. But the blowgun is a dart frog weapon basically, and so if you play that race, you get training in that weapon, and normally they're like really weak. They do like a D4 of damage, but they're not made to be damage dealers themselves. They're meant to deliver poison. And I've looked at a couple of build things to play with there, and a lot of it's really interesting. Like it looks super fun. And I love that about second edition Pathfinder, because it's something you don't get in 5e. and something we're still not going to get in whatever the next iteration of D&D is called. I'm still not sure if they've settled on an actual name.
Yeah, the thing's fun. I never made it my primary, but I've used it as for old D&D. Oh, John Miller! Get the kids something for me? Thank you. I didn't see that. It did not post for me, but I am now seeing it. I will turn off the... oh, John left. Dang it.
Yep.
Well, if John comes back, we'll have to... have to make sure we draw something for him when he comes back. If not, we'll have to catch him next time. We owe John one sketch, and we will turn off the ads. The trip key jumping swashbuckler build is hilarious. Yeah. Yeah. I like the Gripply and the trip key. I think they're fun. Something that needs to be... I haven't run a campaign where I have like a bunch of them around, but I've run a few as players. It might be fun to have a City of Frog folks somewhere. Oops, I already did that one. 4. Okay. Dwarf, Fey-Pack, Warlock to the Cat's Eye. Arcane Trickster with Cheshire Cat. Okay, got it. Colors of Cheshire Cat. I think purple might still be good.
Yeah, Cheshire Cat, I don't think the color actually matters, although usually there's some sort of fey, like bright fey color, but I think it's the smile with way too many teeth is the thing.
Right. Oh, YouTube's dying. Not cool. Are people getting buffering? Brian, welcome in. Thank you. What am I saying? Thank you for posting the emotes. I'm losing my mind today. You've been in Discord this whole time. It's the first time I saw you on YouTube, though. If they're a dwarf, they need a beard. But then I also need the Cheshire smile. So let's do a cool shape here. If they're focused on a cat, I think the beard needs to go out more than down. Really go for like the Tomcat vibe.
The big old poofy cheeks.
Mm-hmm. Jar defense mechanism, which is interesting. I've been losing seconds here and there. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, we might give up on Twitch again, which is unfortunate. I like Twitch, but there's currently one viewer there, and it's just dragging down the stream. Mushroom Minotaur. Welcome in, Bionic.
Hey, Bionic. I got your drawing prompt. Well, if this was yours. I can't remember. It was only 2 days ago.
5e 2024.
If they're gonna stick with 5e, they should at least do 5.5.
Hi, kid. Yeah, hi. You're real good at waving. Yeah, good job. They definitely did some weird stuff, right? Like
Yeah, it really feels to me like they just can't make up their mind, or they're afraid. They're so afraid of their fan base that they're like not actually managing to do anything.
Yeah.
They're like they're maybe afraid to commit to something. I don't know. I'm not really paying attention because
Yeah,
I'm
I'm not
over
I'm not super well
D&D
versed
as
on
an
what's
IP.
actually going on either. But definitely feels like I feel like it may have been more the corporatization of it that
Yeah,
kind of done it in. Because then one, they're not only now like you're saying scared of their player base, like they're not really connected with their player base when it comes to what they want because they're
yeah.
so focused on things like they just released the new D&D Beyond um, VTT virtual tabletop,
Yep.
and it looks okay. It looks pretty good, but it's a subscription model, and it's like,
Yeah.
so we'll see.
If a
I'm sure that will be
subscription is
successful.
cheap and yeah,
It's
if
like
yeah,
$5 a month or
probably.
something.
If a subscription is cheap enough, it's not that bad. It's
Yeah, and if it's $5 a month for everybody to play, like, great. Like I'm fine with that. So I think you only have
yeah.
to have the full subscription to run games, but I'm not sure whether or not you can play them if you don't have the subscription. If you have to subscribe to play, it's worthless. It's completely worthless.
Yeah.
Um, Cthulhu: The Cosmic Abyss, nice.
Did you see Geek and Sundry has announced that they're gonna do a Pathfinder game, and Felicia Day and Matt Mercer are gonna be playing in it,
I didn't.
as well as a
I
couple
saw
of,
that.
of other people.
I saw Ego Raptor was going to be playing D&D. That might have been the
Yeah.
same thing. That's what you're talking about.
No, that's a different thing. Ego Raptor's gonna be on Critical Role,
Gotcha.
along with some other fairly famous YouTubers.
I think Corvus or Bry showed that to me, and I was like, wait, that's that's still a thing. Like, I thought Geek and Sundry went under, but
Yeah, so did I. But no, they're still puttering around.
which is good.
Yeah, they got tied up in some controversy with some unsavory characters, unfortunately,
Oh, I didn't know that.
along with most of the internet, right? Like people are telling on themselves all over the place. So
They're still around, yeah. It was Bry. Tori, welcome in. The Myconid. The Mookanid, yeah, Mookanid. Was this a cleric? I've forgotten what the prompt was. Okay. Fey Pact Warlock, okay. More tattoos. We need more tattoos. I'm worried this kid just doesn't need naps.
with how tired he gets, I
mean,
assumed he did.
Yeah, he's showing all the signs of being tired. Like he's just rubbing his eyes, he's yawning, he's like half seems like he's half drunk. And then I'll hold him for a minute and then he's like, I'm good. Just doesn't want to be held and just wants to go. And it's like, all right, go for it. Yesterday he just refused a nap and then had like a 2-hour nap in the afternoon and I was like, it's fine, I guess. It's just not when it would be convenient for me. But who knows? We'll figure it out. What kind of hat/hair would a dwarven warlock have? Should we just put like cat scratches on his head?
I mean, sure.
Sounds fun.
I think either bald or like huge afro. I can't explain either of those, but
The poofy Cheshire cat tail on his head.
yeah. I don't know, something like that. Those are just my initial.
Can't remember how
My
the Cheshire
first-
cat was actually
first
described
thoughts.
in the book.
Oh yeah, me neither.
I remember it being really, really weird, but I don't remember.
I feel bad that I can't remember because those are some of my absolute favorite books.
Oh, really? I haven't
Yeah.
read that. I haven't read that since like it's been at least 25 years. I just heard R2D2
Oh.
explode. What happened? Dr. Starte, welcome in. Thank you for the follow. I don't remember what noise that was supposed to be. I kind of want to play it again. Just can I redo that? Apparently not. Thank you for the follow, by the way. Welcome in. I did my first apartment, the Cheshire Flat. That's pretty funny. Was it striped? Dude might be a Durgar, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think part of it is we're going back to talking about WotC. Like, part of their problem, I think, is that they're focusing too much on the profit margin instead of the game, which is
Yep.
you can't really like fault them for that, right? They're a big company, and so they're gonna want to do that. And instead of trying to
especially since they're beholden to their corporate overlord,
right,
the
Hasbro.
The evil entity known as Hasbro.
And like Magic the Gathering had the same problem, but like Magic the Gathering has been having problems since the 90s. Like,
yeah,
there's whoa, what's going on here? I just now see the massive print. Ah, okay. Pink and purple, large smile, has long claws, many teeth. Yeah, no, I thought it was a lot scarier than that, but it seems like it's pretty chill. I guess she had a cat, right? That was the whole thing. Jordan, welcome in.
Yeah, but I think that hers was an orange tabby. Although I might be mixing things up with just the Disney movie, the animated one.
Goodbye, Dinah. Goodbye. Yeah, so I think Magic the Gathering has taken some pretty weird twists and turns to get where they are, and I think overall, I think Magic is probably in a better place than it was back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really only because like the community that created Commander, like they leaned into that, which I think was good. I think that was good for Magic. Overall, like I honestly don't like to play it as much as I used to because of that.
Yeah.
But it's different, and I'll play Commander, and that'll be fine, right? Like, so there's the way in which Magic is played is different, but the new thing that they've created is also fun, and it's just a different thing. And so I hope with D&D that kind of the same thing happens, where they talk to the community, see what the community wants, and then adapt the game that way. And a lot of the time, especially in the last 5 years, it's felt like they've done what they think is best, which is usually opposed to the community, and then had to backtrack, right? So
yeah.
I hope they started figuring that shit out. But if they don't, whatever. Lucky Plimp Pathfinder.
I suspect they're not actually going to figure that out until after Hasbro's bled everything they can from that IP and then sold it off. But
I
that's maybe
don't see that happening.
that may just be me being extremely cynical.
Yeah, there's no way they would sell D&D. Period. Like, I think Hasbro would burn it into the ground before they did that.
Well, I fully expect them to burn it into the ground
Uh,
and then try to sell the corpse when it can't
but
make them any
a
more
big
money.
part of it, like, is just the transition to digital, right? Like, it makes sense that they would do that. And the community's been mad about it, but at the same time, like, if their VTT works and it's priced correctly, I think it'll be very successful. Dr. Star, say hello. Just Doc will do. Figured it'd drop by for some noise while I work. Some good old D&D. Yeah, no, welcome in. We are doing the viewer suggestions today, so if you have a character you'd like to suggest, we'll put it on the list. I'll probably do a few more of these. We'll see what happens. Ooh. I believe the VTT is coming soon. Oh, I thought I just saw. Maybe I saw like a preview for it. I imagine the patron to be one of these. Yeah. I think the cat Sith is the patron that they suggested, but they said it was supposed to be like the Cheshire Cat. So both of those are right here. Oh, kiddo, come on. What's up? No, don't stand up. You will hit your head again. Walks under desk, smacks head on desk, crouches down, stands back up, whacks head on desk.
Poor kiddo.
You need to let go and not look at the screen. Yeah. I feel like I need to give him more floofy eyebrows here. Kid, you and I would both have a better day if you just took a nap. Instead of fighting and screaming with me. No, you don't get to play with the keyboard.
All right, I think that's about all I got for the Mookinid. See if I've got one more in me. We're down to 6. I rolled a 6. Ogre Paladin of Salami that wears a fancy feather hat. Is the Hydra folk on the list? Let's see. I don't see it. I don't see a Hydra folk on the list. Sorry, no name. Write it in the chat. I'll make sure Rook puts it on the list when he returns. Some of these prompts are wild. By the way.
I had to remove a couple of them.
Yeah.
They got really weird this week.
Oh, how do I want to do the Salami Paladin?
Is my Hydra folk on the list? I don't think it is no name. I think that was one of them I had to get rid of. Because there was something. There's like 5 characters. What are you drawing now, Druid?
I keep rolling max dice. So number 6, the Ogre Paladin of Salami with a fancy feather hat.
Yes. Tori, when no fan art means no franchises or established IPs. Yeah. I don't want to draw real people. I don't want to draw characters that already exist.
Occasionally people have gotten away with it, but you gotta be real creative.
You have to make it an RPG character.
Yeah. You have to make it something that we want to draw.
A warlock that looks like Barack Obama. That does not work. And I say that because someone asked for that for months. Over and over and over again. You done? You done having a fit? Okay, I need to finish up this warlock. What should we do for this warlock? I had 2 Hydra suggestions, but this week that I had to say no to because 1 Hydras are bonkers to draw. And they got too specific, I think. But it's weird that it happened twice. Yeah, I mean, if people want to commission me for fan art, I'm down for that. But when we're doing this is for people's D&D stuff. And I hope I don't have to put like no AI prompts on there, but we used to have problems with that too. Like, I'm here to draw people's stuff, not because I'm out of ideas.
Yeah.
So if you don't care about the character, don't suggest it.
I am honestly so sick of AI stuff showing up in my searches. I've been looking at different search engines, trying to find ones that are whatever one is I think is the best at filtering out the AI stuff, and they all seem to be equally bad at it.
Yeah, I mean, because that's not what search engines are for, right? Like, they're not. That's kind of the beauty of the search engine, is that it's nondescript. It only looks at the tags. So,
yeah, and unfortunately, AI stuff is not being tagged as AI stuff.
yeah, and it's too much. Like, there's just so much of it. Honestly, like, if you're just looking for references or poses and stuff, like, AI is pretty good for that. And I know people might be upset about that, but like, the difference between going to Google looking for "show me cat" and typing in "show me a cat in this pose," these are the same. Like, yes, the AI might have been mooched off of the internet, but you're technically mooching off the internet by using someone else's photograph. So, if you really want to get away from that stuff, like, it's good to invest in like pose archives and get into photography yourself, and so you're taking your own references and so. I don't mean that to sound like, I don't want you to think that I'm like trash talking you for
no
using Google or anything.
Yeah.
But like, those are
that is not how I took it. I'm just being quiet because I'm concentrating.
Yeah, it's very much like there's a functional use for AI.
Yeah.
And I think people just we need to regulate the way we use it, essentially.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll put up for a commission. Yeah, it's something we can talk about. Well, good burp. Good burp, kid. You feel better?
Right into the microphone.
Yeah, you feel better now? You want more milk? No? No, you just want to play with the cat? Okay, kid. It goes on the floor one more time. I'm not picking it up. You get 3. Use the Mookinid and the Jello method. I don't remember. I remember reading the Jello method, but I don't remember what I drew it. I don't remember what I did with it. That's it. Nope. No more. You can go down on the floor and get it if you want. But I'm not picking it up. You want it? Here you go. Go get it. He really, really wants the milk bottle, but he doesn't want to be put down. And now he's struggling with which one he wants more. Okay, I think I'm done with this one. Don't know what else to add to it. I guess I drew the baby Hydra a while back. That one was pretty goofy. I do feel like that's kind of the other side of it too. Like if something gets really, really complicated, it's like I have to make this look really doofy because I don't have time to draw all that.
Yep.
So, which is why a lot of these are saying like busts and stuff, just because of time. If I do a bust, I can put a little more time into it. Oops, I put that on the same layer. Same layer. Plus, I assume most people want to use these for like tokens and stuff, if anything. So. That's a party. That's a party we're building right now. Wow. Okay. Here we go. Roll some dice. 2. Swarm of undead snakes. Swarm of undead snakes. Warlock. Wearing the skin of the defeated enemies like a cloak. Okay. Once again, that feels like a lot of stuff, but we'll make it work. It's a warlock that is a swarm of snakes. Okay. I mean, we're just gonna draw the weird goo people from Halo, right? Like the swarm of eels. Why the mimic rule? I'm guessing it was overdone and boring. A little bit, but it was more that every post that I got was blank but mimic, or a mimic disguised as blank. And so essentially everything became everything and nothing was nothing. And when you start doing that, you run into issues where people start giving you suggestions that don't have visual descriptions. And so it's just, people took it as a way of basically trolling me to like, here's the thing, here's the prompt I want that doesn't mean anything. So mimics, changelings, like every now and again I'll let people suggest mimics, and people don't want mimics. People want mimics that look like things, which is just another way to make me draw an outhouse. But with teeth.
Yeah.
So
long story short, if you want a if you want a character that is a mimic, but they always are in the form of a half elf ranger rogue,
Just gonna draw a half elf
then
ranger
just
rogue.
yeah, just talk about the half elf ranger rogue.
Same thing with the changeling. Like it's a changeling that looks like this. It's like then you want that. Like that's what I'm gonna draw. So like there's no reason to add the extra part of it. And that's the same thing with mimics. So
Yeah, a mimic disguised as a bag of holding is just a bag of holding.
just a bag of holding, which isn't inherently interesting to me to draw. So, but at the same time, like I get that there is a difference, right? Like, if somebody wants, like I've done item commissions and stuff in the past, and so I'll do that. Like I get it, but it really is, which is why I'll do it. Like usually around Halloween we do mimic stuff. That can be fun. But it's more of just a protection. If somebody actually wanted a mimic that was a mimic, I would probably be okay with drawing it, but that's not what people suggest. It's just it gets weird.
Yep.
Nope. No. Just because you climb up to the other side of the desk doesn't mean you can touch the keyboard. No. Nope. Nope. No. No. Kid's probably gonna get really frustrated and mad at me here in a second.
There, fancy feather hat has become Mary Poppins Victorian.
Come, children. We gotta go see Bert. Was Mary Poppins a book before it was a TV musical? Movie musical?
Yes, I believe it's quite different.
Okay.
So.
And
The whimsy is still.
Do not climb up on the desk. No. This is just gonna make you frustrated, kid. Here, you can have all your toys up here, and you can play with them on the desk if you want. But you cannot touch the keyboard. Is that what you want? Look at all those things. Look at all those things you can play with. Yeah, it sucks. Like, I like people being able to be creative and have fun with weird, unique characters, right? Like the whole basis of the channel is monster characters. But yeah, the mimics and changelings are just like rife with abuse, and it makes me sad.
Yeah.
Nope.
The problem isn't actually being creative with your application of mimics and changelings. The problem is telling Rook to draw something and including no visual descriptors.
Yeah.
'Cause if we're going to draw stuff, then we actually have to have enough information to actually draw the thing. And it became very frustrating because we moved farther and farther away from that.
I like really basic things like drow, elf, fighter, right? It's like, cool, yeah, I can do that, right? Like that's enough basic jargon to go. But when you go like mimic that looks like a house, it's like that could literally be anything, and I don't want to draw a whole fucking house. It's like, it's just too much stuff. I was asking a lot about living items in general, and I didn't want to seem like I was skirting around the rule. Yeah, I mean, like, so here's how would you define a living item, right? Like, that's the big thing. Like, poppets are great. Poppets are really cool. Poppet that looks like a stuffed bear. That's a cool character. I dig it. We can do that, right? But if you tell me to draw, like, oh, my character is a rogue that's a coin, it's like, you're gonna have to explain that, and then I have to, like, figure out what the hell you're talking about. You know, it's a magical sword. It's cool, yeah, we can draw a magical sword, but it's just a sword, right? Like, so I need, what kind of sword is it? What does it do? Yeah, those are fun. it really is. Once again, it's like it's there purposefully to defeat people just trying to troll, you know. 9 times out of 10, I have to delete mimic suggestions. Every now and again, someone has a pretty good one. It's like, you know, that's fair. That's a it seems like a legitimate suggestion.
Yeah. Didn't your mimic video that you did, wasn't that from somebody's suggestion? That was actually like, I want to see your take on a mimic that's not cloaked. I just want.
Did I do a mimic video? I don't know if I did. I did a short.
I guess. Oh, not the mimic. Sorry, the changeling.
Yeah, the changeling was just
gray alien.
I just drew a person and then I drew a mimic changeling. Like, I drew them both ways. But it very much was, yeah. It's like, I like the idea of changelings being doppelgangers, which is basically how would you play a doppelganger. That's really the video I made, right? Like how to make a doppelganger. Teddy bear puppet, yeah, great.
You did that. You drew that as well.
Yeah. But the changelings specifically, like, there are 2 different types of changelings. There are the doppelgangers, and then there's the fae things, right? And I think Matt Covell even went farther to make the changelings more fae, like they're just fake creatures that stole human appearances to swap out the baby, which is great. What was your puppet bear's name? Constable McMurderfloof, I think.
Yep.
He was a tiny bear detective. I guess he was a lion. He was a tiny lion, but yeah. So I like the doppelganger one, because once you get into the, like, oh, it's a fae doppelganger, then it's just whatever they're replacing, and it doesn't matter, right? So how do you want me to draw that? That's the big question. Like, how do you want me to draw that? You want me to draw something with 2 faces? And almost always people say, oh, just draw them like halfway through the transition. And it's like, So, which to me is just a kind of a non-answer.
Yeah.
Hey. Okay, this cloak. This would be the scariest fucking thing to run into on the street. A cloak that is just a bunch of snakes.
Yeah, it would be. That might be my brother's worst nightmare. My brother does not handle snakes well.
Hey! Do not climb up on the desk. That is dangerous. Oh, kid, I want you to be able to explore and try things, but you are just pushing the envelope. I need to become YouTube famous so I can hire a babysitter during these shows. If we can make $300 per episode, I can hire somebody to watch him for the 2 hours while we do this show. You cannot touch the keyboard, kid. No. Mm-mm. No, you're not allowed. Never have been. Nope. You have your own keyboard. Play with your own keyboard. Where'd it go? There it is. Here, play with your own keyboard. This is going to be really weird and annoying, sorry.
I'm all focused up on what I'm doing, so that's not going to bother me, probably. I'm a little bit sad that this is probably the last drawing I'm going to get in, because I finally feel like I've got my groove.
We can do another one if you want.
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna make the kid wait. And I'm probably gonna keep picking away at this for as long as I can.
Slowly make an evil adventuring party today. Nice. No name. So no Hydra folk. Yeah, sorry, I just now saw that. Yeah, the problem with Hydras are, like, essentially what's going on here is, like, I'm drawing all the snakes, and I'm drawing them really shittily, because I don't have time to draw all the snakes. So Hydras need, 3 to 5 heads. And so in the past, whenever people have suggested Hydras, I draw them really goofy looking and really stupid. Which is, I mean, if that's what you want, that's what you get, but... the problem, like, I think with your suggestion, you said it was a Hydra folk with... Oh, God. Different class for every head. It's just like, it's too much detail. It's just too much stuff. Hey, off the desk. No. Welcome back, Corvus. The problem with drawing multiple faces and multiple heads for, like, a Hydra or a Hydra folk is it's essentially multiple characters, and multiple characters is too much time. So whenever people suggest, like, I have this character that's writing a blank, I usually don't draw the thing that they're writing unless it's, like, really, really cheap and derpy. Which can be fun sometimes. But yeah, so generally no Hydra folk. Same thing with, like, ogres. I think ogres with, like, multi-headed ogres is sometimes the limit I will go. Or druid has drawn those in the past.
Yeah, occasionally.
But it's a time thing. Same thing with, like, the kobolds in a trench coat, right? It's like, I want you to draw X, but it's 5 kobolds, and it's like, nope. Most of the time, I will say no to that unless it's just the kobolds, right? Kid, you are not allowed to climb up on the desk. All right.
Some salamis in here.
Sorry. Now the kid is just purposefully climbing up on the desk.
Yep. See, I told you we don't have time for another one. Kobold Voltron from Bry. Yeah, that is something that I don't want to draw. As funny as it is, like it is a fun suggestion, right? But like it is a lot of work that goes into it.
Yeah, that's why this week was weird. Yeah, like I'll do an animal companion if it's like a cat that can be put on a hat, right? If all I have to do is like, weep. But usually if like it's a horse or something, I really don't often have to not add things to the list. I'd say maybe once a month I get something that's like no, but like this week there were a few of them that were just like blatant breakings of the rules, and I'm like, what is going on? People just give
Maybe
me
a
a
lot
hard
of new
time.
viewers.
I suggest my player that has a stone giant kept together by sentient fungus. Should have suggested, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I would have just drawn mushrooms, but what defines a sentient mushroom? A sentient fungus.
Yeah, I've done a couple of drawings like that. I think the most recent one was a stone golem covered in moss.
Did Voltron have evil witches? It might have. Or was it all aliens?
I have no idea.
I guess it depends on how you define witch. Star Wars has evil space witches.
Yeah, the genre does not preclude witches. I know we talk about it frequently, but I really do love the Witches of Dathomir.
It's a cool vibe.
Yeah, they are some of my favorite Force wielders in that universe.
They got done dirty in the new Acolyte show.
That's too bad.
Yeah. The new Ahsoka, though, was real good. They did a good job with Ahsoka. Even though they made zombie stormtroopers.
What? No.
Lore-wise, it actually makes total sense, and I'm fine with it.
Okay, I'll trust you on that.
Hagar, yeah, there were witches in Voltron. I mean, the whole shebang for Voltron is that it's a robot powered by magical space dust, so whatever. I don't think it's that big of a stretch.
Fair.
Everything's powered by quintessence, which is just like soul energy. The new Voltron was pretty good. I enjoyed it. They had some weird, like, forced LGBT stuff that, like the way Netflix do,
Yep.
Where it's like, instead of making this a well-developed character that happens to be gay, they're just like, oh, by the way. And it's like, why? Okay. Like, that's fine. Like, why was that an issue? You could have told us that at the beginning.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. I hate being pandered to.
Sorry, I said that the wrong way. They made a well-developed character, and then just at the end tagged on that, oh, by the way, they've been gay this whole time. And it's just like, great. Like, it doesn't change the character at all, so it's fine, I guess.
Yeah. I prefer that to the character that their only personality trait is being queer.
Yeah. It felt very much like they had... You're right. Like, right. I think that's a better way to do it, right? It shouldn't matter, because especially in a show where you're not talking about, like, you're not dealing with sexuality or relationships in most situations. Like, I don't think there was a love thing throughout the entirety of the show.
Yeah, yeah.
But just at the end, they're just like, oh, by the way, gay wedding. And it's just like, what? Where did this come from? It felt very much like it was interjected into the show.
Yeah, yeah. Unnecessary. Like, look how woke we are.
Yeah, exactly. Super weird. Really good show.
Yep.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. They also did the Netflix thing where they, like, here's season 1, super good, and then season 2, like, does this, and then they're like, no, that needs to be 2 seasons. And so it just, like, jumps a few episodes and then pauses and then goes, oh, forget all that shit happened, here's the rest of the season. And it's just like, why did you do it that way? Like, just please stop dragging your feet and making filler episodes.
Yep.
So my only problem with it was that it was Netflix shenanigans. Oh, that's really good. What am I looking at? Brian, what is this? Evil witch puppets? Terra Hawks. Oh.
No idea.
Yeah, I think I know what that is. That was like Puppet Voltron, right? It's a zombie that has a complicated host body. James Catboy, welcome in. Probably late to say this, but we're back. Yeah, no problem. Sorry, I saw you in the chat before, and then YouTube kind of took a poop, so I had to restart it. You asked about why the D20s were so weird at the beginning of the episode for criticals, and we talked about that a little bit. I don't know if you heard that or not.
Long story short, it's a first edition Pathfinder thing.
Yeah.
That most people ignored.
Most people ignore it, yeah. And the big thing about it is, like, having your crit range be 5% statically is really powerful, and then saying that that's double damage for 5% of the time is really, really powerful. And so in 3E, the way they counteracted that was they just made things immune to critical. Undead things, immune to critical. People with helmets on, immune to critical. So it sucked. So in Pathfinder, what they did is they said, okay, if you roll a natural 20, you hit, but then you have to roll again, and all you have to do is hit the creature. So if its AC is 10, you just have to roll above a 10, and then you get the double damage. Then you get double damage. And usually things like bleed damage or like knock them unconscious or stun them or something like that. And then the helmets made this confirmation worse. So now all of a sudden you have to hit an 11 instead of a 10. To confirm a critical, and that made it a little better. So you still got the automatic hit, but it made the damage spiking less, which I think was smart. But then now what they do is they just have, now the way Pathfinder does it, because that still was cumbersome. When you roll, if the creature has an AC of 10, and you roll, if you roll a 20, you automatically hit, right? Like, you automatically hit because it counts as a step higher than it should, which is pretty much always a critical. But if you roll, say, a 19, that's not a critical. If you roll a 21, that's a bad example. I just realized this is a bad example. You have a plus 10. You have to roll a plus 10 or a negative 10. So let's say their AC is 12. We'll do that. You have to roll a 22 for it to be a critical.
Yeah.
But if you roll a 20, it bounces it up. So it is automatically a critical. You don't have to confirm
if you roll a natural 20.
If you roll a natural 20, yeah, it automatically bumps it up a step. If you roll, but this also makes it so if you roll a 2, 1 or a 2, that's also a failure. That's a critical failure.
Yeah, critical failure.
The cool thing about this system, though, is that because things can get really weird, like, you can do this with spells too, which is really neat.
Yeah.
And so it basically means that anytime you fight something that's like 4 levels below you, you're almost always going to crit because their AC is always going to be 14, let's say. But by the time you're 4 levels above them, you probably have a plus 10 or a plus 12 to attack on your first hit. So that means you always critical on them. You get tons of criticals, which is great.
Yeah. In
and-
a campaign I'm running, we occasionally have 2 barbarians on the team, and barbarians are really good at hitting stuff.
Mhm.
In 2e, so they crit frequently, and I have had one of those barbarians who, at low levels, one-shot a boss encounter.
Yep, that was funny.
It was very funny.
Because like barbarians get like what times 3 or times 4 critical if they spec right.
Yeah, if they spec right. I don't think they were capable. I don't think Rookzer was capable of it at that time because I think it was just it was just an orc bandit leader. But yeah. Despite the fact that he was 2 levels higher than everybody in the party, Rookzer still critically succeeded and cut him down. And I don't think it was a natural 20 either.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it is interesting.
So.
Yeah, the fun thing about the fun thing about that, which I like this system, is the 20 and the 1 still exists, which means that if you rolling a 20 and you have a plus 5 is 25 and that still fails, the 20 bumps it up to a success, right?
Yeah.
And the same thing works for the negatives. So
yeah,
it's really easy to you're no longer critting and critical failing on only the 1 and 20. You have a band basically of success within there, which is really fun.
Yeah, it is.
Did you call
It
that?
especially if it gets fun with spells, because basically every spell that has a saving throw has 4 potential outcomes.
Yeah. You miss, but something happens. You succeed, and something happens, or you critical, and something happens really cool.
Yeah. The occult spellist is both the least fun and the most fun, because if something critically fails on the occult spell list, then usually it's something pretty terrifying, including instant death mechanics. There are quite a few spells on the spell list where if you critically fail, you get like permanently blinded or are just dead. The flip side of that is that if something critically succeeds on most spells on the occult spell list, just nothing happens and you've basically wasted your turn.
Yeah, it's really hit or miss.
But Corvus and I can bitch about the occult spell list for days if you let us, so I'll end it there. But I really do enjoy the plus or minus 10 to crit system that 2nd edition Pathfinder came up with. I really like what it has added to the game.
Yeah, and I think it really works well for the bosses because you don't have those weird swings anymore that you used to. It's very consistent. So like the boss is almost always like, hey, this is a melee type boss. This boss is going to be hitting or critting you every turn. You have to be aware of that, right?
Yeah.
And sure, you don't have those like super ridiculous crit moments anymore. Which like I think someone was talking about that the other day, of saying that like it might have been a podcast, I'm not sure, but like it might have been Brandon Lee Mulligan talking about criticals being like the thing that people love the most in the game, right? Like just everybody loses their mind when someone rolls a critical, and it's just like it's a 5% chance. Like if you roll dice 1,000 times during a game, like a lot of those are going to be crits. So I think Pathfinder leaned into that, and they're like, no, crits should happen all the time. They should be fun, and cool things should happen with it, and that's why you have like critical specialization. And I think the new D&D is leaning into that as well, adding critical effects to specific weapons. Like every weapon should have its own critical effect, which is like, we've been doing that forever. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, this is not a new thing.
Yeah. Oh, poor sleepy boy. Yeah, poor sleepy boy. You have a long day. I don't know how you're still awake. He's just like curling up on me, like, please, Please, Papa, let me sleep. It's like, it's not. It's you. It's all on you, kid. All right, are you done for the day?
Yeah, I think I'm finished.
Okay.
Tuckered myself out right as I was getting going. Not that I got a great amount of detail, but
Sure. I had a call. What I was going to say about mimics is I don't actually like them very much. They're just beasts. I like some intelligent race of creatures or awakened objects. Yeah, I made a video about like playing awakened swords, like as a player, and I've done that in games. It's really fun. The problem I have with the semi-intelligent thing is for mimics specifically, like because there have been mimics that are so apparently mimics live long enough they can gain sentience, right? I like the idea that mimics are just oozes, like types of oozes. They just happen to be able to psychically form themselves into things. And that was the other problem with the changelings and like the what are they called? The weird oozes that can transform into people. Shoot.
Oh, Oobleck?
Yeah, the Oobleck. I very much like. I think oozes should be dumb. I think they should be creatures and beasts. Like, because if you're a hyper intelligent creature that can shape change at will to whatever you want, like you just win the game. Like you win. The symbiotes in Spider-Man are super powerful, except that they basically don't have a form without being a symbiote, right? Like that's their downside to it. So if you're like, oh no, they can just be their own people, it's like that's way too powerful, and you just lose. You lose. The universe gets taken over by them. So, yeah, an entire universe of T-1000s is just way too powerful. So I like oozes that can turn into people, and you have to limit their intelligence. And whether that's like someone did a really good one, which this might actually be a real creature, so I'm not sure, but I think it was a Reddit post talking about someone in your party starts acting a little weird, and then you notice that there's like a goo trail attached to them, and it's just the spore of a giant mushroom that ate your friend, and it's like, oh shit, that's cool. But they like, they don't actually have their personality. They just have like a vague understanding of like, I am human. Yes, let's do that. It's like, why are you being so weird?
I'm hungry. That's a thing that we feel, right?
They did that in the new DuckTales too.
Yeah.
The new DuckTales. There was a plant that could basically like, it was like a kingfisher. Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
So like the top half of the people were just people, and they're like, hello, thank you, welcome, thank you, yes, hello. They're like, why are you? What's going on? Why don't you have any legs? This is super good. Okay, I think that's where we're gonna call it. Thanks for hanging out today, everybody. I don't know if John ever came back. We will write a note for that. We owe John one sketch. Oh, one sketch. We'll try to remember that for next time. But other than that, yeah, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for your suggestions today, everybody. Sorry we didn't draw the Hydra folk. If you'd like to commission a Hydra, I'm down for that. I have a couple of them that I've done in the past. Hydras are fun. Hydras are cool. But yeah, I don't know how we would do that as a character without drawing a ton of stuff. So Patreon members get a free mini commission. That could be a way to do it too. Otherwise, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But thanks again. As always, stay happy, stay healthy, keep your dice on the table. Are you really going to pass out right now? He's finally going to pass out as the stream's ending? Awesome. I'll probably be hanging out in Discord today, working on the video game. So if people want to come hang out, you're very welcome too. I'm going to try to work on some animations over there. And yeah, might be a new video out next week. I said it was going to be out this week, but I got delayed. But the audio is done. The video is just getting pushed together. So other than that, we'll catch everybody later. Bye, everyone.
Bye.